Hello, I hear the
Oh, yeah.
which blockchain?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, it is.
Hello.
Let's say five more minutes.
There's a friend who's also.
So if you so this is our there's a quick survey. So until we wait. Um, So for people joining online, so just use the link and you can fill out the quick survey here. Is it working? What is it saying?
Nothing. I mean,
So what subject you study?
math.
Okay. Postgrad, undergrad.
Postdoc.
Okay. So we'll like wait for 4 more minutes and then yeah. Um, I think we can start. So, yeah, so welcome to Oxford Blockchain Society Introduction to Blockchain, sponsored by Cardano. So we'll be going through what blockchain is, what Bitcoin is, what Ethereum is, and sort of generally the 5 challenges that are sort of currently faced by blockchain protocols. And we'll also go through a little bit of like the consensus mechanism, use cases of blockchain, and we'll be quite hands-on as well. So essentially, this is a very brief understanding of what blockchain is and sort of how it's sort of brought about. So this is a video of sort of how a distributed ledger works from edX. So
the concept of distributed ledgers has been around for hundreds of years. To understand the basics of blockchain, it's important to understand how distributed ledgers work. A distributed ledger is a collection of data with no central administrator that has been agreed upon by consensus. To understand more details, let's take a trip way back into 500 AD on the island of Yap.
The Yapese people used a very unique form of currency, the rye stone. Each of these stones weighed around 200 kilos, making them difficult to move. To exchange them as money for goods or services, they divided the stones into sections, and then they would announce to every adult on the island who owned what part of each stone. Each adult had to keep a mental ledger of ownership. Every time any Yapese conducted a trade, an announcement was made to the entire tribe. Each member of the tribe would then update their mental ledger. In today's description, this would be called a distributed ledger. All rye stone ownership was known to everyone, and that knowledge was updated whenever a transaction was made. So why did just one member of the tribe keep track of the rye stones? What if that main record keeper was sick, unable to do their job, or was found to be dishonest? If the only copy of the ledger was changed by any means, wealth would be lost or gained unfairly. the Yapese knew their distributed ledger system safeguarded it from tampering, since all the Yapese knew who owned what. It would be very difficult to fool everyone on the island. Even if one tribe member moved away, the tribe still had multiple copies of their mental ledger. In this regard, the ledger was fault-tolerant and could not be easily changed, corrupted, or lost. The tribe also decided that stones didn't have to be on the island to hold value. One day, a stone fell into the ocean, and the Yapese decided that this stone, even though it could not be seen, still held value and could still be traded. This system of consensus by the majority of the adults on the island, with no central administrator, is one of the first examples of distributed ledger.
So basically, blockchain is a way to keep a record. So as you can see there, in blockchain, every person who is a node sort of keeps a record of themselves. So this is basically a digital way to do this. So one of the two key elements of blockchain is it first of all has a database, like a relation database or a Google sort of Excel sheet, where it keeps a log of everything that happens. And one of the special features is you can't delete from this log. And the other thing is it has rules, basically rules that govern how you can make a block and how you are going to get rewarded for actually being part of the node. And those we call are sort of like consensus mechanisms. So the reason we have tokens on blockchain like Bitcoin, Ethereum, or ADA is sort of incentivize people. So what sort of incentive does a person have to actually maintain this network, be part of this network and be part of this node? So essentially we pay or incentivize people to be nodes to actually help hold a copy of this network through giving them tokens and incentivize them. So Bitcoin is generally a crypto asset, and this is what is used to incentivize people to actually maintain the blockchain network. So it's quite a sort of a common misnomer that people would sort of refer to the blockchain and the asset by same name, but so the thing that makes Bitcoin possible is this network or blockchain, basically. So essentially, it's a decentralized ledger, a ledger where everyone has a copy and they follow rules, which we call a consensus protocol. And the main thing about currency is it relies on trust, because every valuable thing in this world is based on trust. And what in a crypto asset people believe in and what they trust in is the code, because for Bitcoin, there's a limited number through the code of how much it can exist. That's what creates value. And in a fiat currency, sort of trust is built through the central banks, etc. So this is sort of a quick overview of like the underlying technology for Bitcoin, which is called UTX. So basically, each time a block is made, another block is sort of like attached onto the previous one. So if you know, it's like a linked list basically in programming, how it gets attached. So in general, because of this feature, blockchains are immutable. So you can't go and change all entries, because a large number of people own a copy of this ledger, and if you make one change in one place, it's not going to change anything. You have to like change it in all the millions of nodes that are out there, and it's public. So if I make a transaction on the blockchain, so if I send data to you or someone else, that person can see my transaction. So it's public. And when we mean by permissionless is anybody can mine Bitcoin, and basically anybody can be a validator in a sort of a proof of stake blockchain. So let's go to Ethereum, which is like the second biggest one. And Ethereum is generally considered a second generation blockchain. So Bitcoin is a first generation blockchain, because it sort of stores value like gold. Where Ethereum sort of allows us to program onto the blockchain itself. So you have if and else statement. So if you can say, if I get this much amount of money into my account, then follow on this. So you can make a contract basically that executes on this code, on this whole network. And one of the good things about such a network is, first of all, it's deterministic. So like when you do something, it will happen through the chain. And sort of it's trustless because you trust the code, not a central organization. So one of the bad things about Bitcoin is, first of all, it's energy demanding. Every one of us knows like how much energy it takes to mine Bitcoin, and you can't program it like Ethereum. So one of the good things about Ethereum is this programmability, the ability to actually sort of do some, sort of build contracts, let's just say, into it. But the thing is, currently Ethereum can be costly and also slow at times. And as you can see, like for these sort of transactions to happen, you have to pay a transaction fee, right? And these transaction fees can be quite high in Ethereum as well. And one of the good things about the Ethereum and second generation blockchains is they allow us to like make apps. Now that you've given the ability to use if else sort of logic like that, you can build apps on that. There are decentralized peer-to-peer because the network is peer-to-peer and the code is also sort of shared among all the nodes. It's a peer-to-peer network, and you can build contracts as such and create apps that operate on the blockchain basically. And there's various uses for that. So there are like, so in general, 5 challenges that face current blockchain protocols. So first of all is decentralization. What do you mean by decentralization? Decentralization means how many people actually control the network, right? So if you say for fiat currency, central bank controls the whole issuing of currency. While in something like Bitcoin, it's going to be the nodes, it's going to be people mining it. So if for example, you only have one person maintaining all of the Bitcoin, then it's not decentralized. And then you have scalable. What scalable means is, can you actually apply to more sort of larger and larger sort of transaction volumes? Can you actually grow the network? So it's pointless if you just can only have, I don't know, 1 or 2 transactions going per minute, and then nothing really happens. It doesn't add value. And then it should be obviously secure. That means you can't hack the system. You can't steal somebody's assets, crypto assets. So to solve that, there's sort of like 3rd generation cryptocurrencies. So Bitcoin is 1st generation, Ethereum is 2nd generation, and there's sort of a 3rd generation blockchain. One example is Cardano. And what they try to do is they try to be sustainable, scalable, and sort of like interoperable. So basically, we have these 3, like decentralization, security, and scalability. And what sort of 3rd generation blockchains do is they make them more sustainable through what we call like proof of work, proof of stake, which I'll come to. And they sort of try to be interoperable with sort of other currently existing blockchains as well. So there are many other 3rd generation protocols like Solana, Polkadot, etc., and also some that are like built upon Ethereum, like Polygon. So proof of stake. So basically, proof of stake is a system. So let's go with proof of work, which is what Bitcoin uses. So for Bitcoin, in proof of work, for you to mine Bitcoin, you get really, really hard problems to solve. So the computer gets it. So when the computer sort of solves these hard problems, which takes up a lot of energy and a lot of computing power, you get a reward in Bitcoin and the transaction goes through. in proof of stake, what happens is you as someone who's a node, you collect sort of ADA, the token for yourself, build a pool, and then you get randomly assigned to validate a transaction that happens. So if the transaction is happening, you can validate that transaction, and like for validating that transaction, you get paid as a pool owner. And then the pool owner shares the profits proportionally with the people participating in the pool. So one of the nice things about proof of stake is it's scalable. So it's scalable, which means the speed of these validations are faster because they don't need to be solving really hard problems, and secure. There's an element of security involved, but there's a lot that can be argued about that. And then we have decentralization, which is one of the good features about a third generation proof of stake system is you have many people validating the nodes, and it doesn't sort of congregate at one place. So currently, sort of, if you know, Ethereum went from a proof of work model to a proof of stake model. So this is just an overview of sort of what sort of their platform looks like with proof of stake. So same with Cardano, we call our proof of stake system Ouroboros, and there was a research paper published on it if you're interested in that. And then same with Solana, they also have different features. So how many validators there are, and sort of they're quite fast with sort of how many transactions you can do per second. And then there's sort of like pros and cons of each. Basically, Solana is really fast, as you say before. Cardano can be a little bit slower, but then Cardano uses the programming language used, Haskell, makes sure that sort of it's secure and there's no vulnerabilities basically. So yeah, practical time. So essentially, if do you guys have a phone or laptop with you? Yeah, so we'll be sort of like setting up an ADA wallet if you guys are interested in joining the demo. So basically, if you go to the App Store and then download Whisper, so basically if you make a crypto wallet, that sort of allows you to interact with the apps and get into sort of, yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Is Cardano supported only on the, what was the wallet?
You could go for Whisper, or if you have a laptop, which is something I would recommend, or I think you could do it on your phone as well, is to get a wallet called Typhoon.
Are there any major wallets that support Cardano, like Trust Wallet or Safe?
Trust Wallet, you can make, so Trust Wallet does have Cardano in it, but it's not native. So it's not sort of like natively something like Eternal or Typhoon. It's built for Cardano. So if you go to either, it's up to you. So you can go to Whisper or ccboard.io. You can do a practical and sort of go through the process of making a wallet.
Should we do that now?
Yeah, if you guys say there's time.
I don't really want to cut on the wallet.
I already have one.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, if for people who want to do that, let's sort of wait 5 minutes.
Is anyone watching the stream?
Yeah, one. That's 2 people.
What is Cardano? Where is everyone?
Yeah, people who signed up, I'm sure, some reason. I think 10 people signed up. 10.
Oh. Where's Simon?
He's the one.
Oh, what the hell?
Yeah, I guess let's continue on. So, what sort of use cases are there for Cardano? So, one of the people who set up this society, one of them are sort of helping students in Ethiopia. So there's sort of 18 billion of humanitarian aid according to him, and then sort of a lot of money is mismanaged. So essentially, what they've done is sort of given decentralized identifiers to people, and then sort of transferring money directly through peer-to-peer crypto, even though they don't have bank accounts, which has enabled them to actually, further their education. And Cardano as a blockchain is also interested in sort of making the place more, sort of making the world a more equitable place. So yeah, this is just a fun sort of thing. And then finally,
Is that a real phone?
yeah, it was.
Or is that Photoshop?
So, yeah, so basically we are going to the second part of it, which is the Project Catalyst, which is like an innovation fund, Cardano has. And for this, this is an opportunity to, if you want to build on Cardano, you have the opportunity to submit a proposal. So the deadline now is sort of the 30th, but there's funds that go on sort of biannually generally. And then, so for this, it's like a on-chain governance of Cardano, and each year Cardano has sort of like different challenges that they have that they need to sort of improve on the blockchain. And so essentially, if you can solve one of these challenges, you can go in there, you can put a proposal up, like going to a VC, and then it will be sort of voted through sort of the network, and yeah, you'll get sort of funds to carry on this project. And for this to happen, there's people called community reviewers. Basically, you will be sort of acting as a funnel, so you'll be reviewing these proposals that come through and rating them. So anyone can be a community reviewer. You don't really have to have a extremely high level sort of or like high level sort of knowledge about blockchain, and you get rewarded for actually writing proposals.
Has anyone, I think Simon has done one of these, right?
Yeah.
Has anyone else that can?
Yeah, I think so. We, as a society, we run sort of these community. We get together as a community and we actually do them together. So we have food and we have just a community, just so you're not in your bedroom just having something. We're doing it as a community.
So, which proposals did you make?
As in, so Simon had, so one of the ways this got funded is it's through Simon. So
Okay.
Simon did a proposal. He got funded, and he's now making this big change.
Oh,
Which is
okay.
interesting.
And how much did you get?
I'm not 100% sure how much he got.
Okay. Is it milestone based?
It is milestone based. So for completing each milestone, you get more a block of money. Each time you hit that milestone, you get unlock the next block of money. So basically, in this community review stage, there's like 2 levels. Level 1. So based on your level, so the pay can vary. But there's also more ways to participate. You can, after community reviewing and sort of moderation, it's put up for a vote, and your vote actually counts and matters. So you can go and vote for proposals that should go through, get funded, and proposals that should be funded and should be thrown out. So examples are stuff that Simon did, like the direct donation for education, the community hub, the Oxygen hub, the society, and yeah, so there are different catalyst funds. So to give an example of what catalyst fund 8 looked like, there was like 16 million-ish in funding available, and there was like 4% for like community river roads. And then, yeah, and there were like different challenges like Grow Africa, cross-chain collaboration, nation building apps, and sort of scaling up Cardano community hubs. So now we are up to Fund 11, which is exciting, which is the one that's, the deadline is on the 30th. So they have different challenges, they have different rewards, and sort of different levels of funding available. So what is a community reviewer? Again, as I described, you learn about the applications of blockchain, and sort of you'll be like contributing to the mission basically of sort of making the place more equitable, encouraging the use of blockchain and making sure the blockchain products that actually come out are valuable to people. And I mean, yeah, there's an earning aspect as well. So there's different levels of reward. Generally, I guess now it's 10 to 15 per review, depends on like the exchange rates and stuff. And they are paying ADA to your wallet basically, if you made a wallet. Yeah, so for this, basically, the way you do a community review is you will be reviewing it based on 3 criteria: impact, feasibility, and auditability. So impact is, what is the impact it actually has, like, is it actually going to change something in the world? And feasibility is, can this team actually do it? Are they actually qualified to do it? And is the amount of money asked actually able to sort of do the promised changes? And the final thing is, like, has it actually, the proposal actually contain all the information it has, and does it offer value for money basically? And then in the sort of review stages, you can sort of, in the voting sort of review stages, you can like put strongly disagree or agree. It's a sliding scale of 5 basically. You rate them on, and then you sort of write sort of short answers to each of them. And then community reviewers, like moderators, will sort of like filter out stuff based on whether they are good, excellent, etc. So the way to sign up is you can join the Oxford Blockchain Society Discord. You as you guys have, you guys create a Cardano wallet. Then you go to Cardano idea scale, and then you can sort of register as a community reviewer. So now it's after the 30th of November, when everything's in, you'll get the chance to sign up. And yeah, then you can sort of be a community reviewer and support sort of the development of technology, or you yourself can propose a project based on sort of based on sort of Cardano. So if you are sort of entrepreneurial, yeah, would recommend that. So if you can sort of like fill the quick final survey, and then we'll have some food.
You don't have food if you don't run the server.
Wow.
We have sushi.
Is it live stream on?
Yes.
Wow. Is it gonna be on while like the whole duration? Or is it finishing now?
Yeah, I will. So does anyone have any questions? Does anyone have any questions before we leave? Okay, if people don't have any questions. And see if there's any questions online. Yeah, for people who joined online, thanks.